Welcome back to Dilemma's Concepts. So what we're looking at today is a performance task um, activity here. So this one is we're designing a play area. All right. So the question says a play area for school. All right. So that's what we're dealing with right now. All right. So it says this task has four parts. Read the information in each part carefully. Complete the task outlined in part one and answer the questions in part two, three, and four. It says here that the principal of your school has decided to build a play area for the lower school students. She wants to include a sandbox. She has asked you to help her to make some decisions before she begins the construction. You will have to help her to one, design a layout for the play area and sandbox, calculate the amount of sand needed for the sandbox, choose a hardware store from which to buy sand. So we have three things to do. Here is a look or a view of what the play area is like. And let's go to the questions, right? So question one, all right, our part one says designing the play area. So let's read that. The principal has identified a section of the schoolyard for the play area. It has an area of 120 square meters. She wants to build a rectangular sandbox in the play area. The table below shows the space required, right, for the sandbox. So we're seeing that the space that is required is actually 48 square meters. And here is a quick visual of what our sandbox will be like. All right, task 8. Use the grid provided to draw the outline for the play area and the sandbox. Be sure to label the sections for the play area and the sandbox. Be sure to include their measurements, right? Added information is that each square on the grid represents 1 square meters. All right. So each square is going to represent 1 square meter on the grid. So here it is. All right. So what we want to do here is we're going to put a layout of the play area and then put the sandbox in that, a layout of it. Remember, the information is that the play area, the dimension that we got in terms of its area, it's 120 square meters. So we have 120 to work with. And then the sandbox must be 48. So what we want to do is just to kind of use our skills to put together a rectangle that would have an area of 120. And I'm thinking 120, you could play around with numbers. You could use a 10 by 12, a 12 by 10, and as many numbers that can multiply to give you that 120. So I'm just going to stop it here. 12 and 10 seem to be a very good candidate. So I'm going to mark off my area now. I'm going to go 12 across. All right. So if I start here, talking about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right. So I'm going to be coming there. All right. So I'm able to quickly see where I want to go. I'm going to do it properly. This is the area. All right. So that's that. And I'm going to go down 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I'm going to come across. It's going to be a 12 again. So I'm kind of marking off my spot here. And I bring this up. All right. All right. So there it is. All right. So that's my play area. So just double checking. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, good. So we're getting a 10 by 12 right there. So I'm going to put on the dimension for this. So this is a 12 meters. And this is a 10 meter. Right? So 12 by 10. And that's my play area. All right. So overall, this is the play area right now. I want to make sure that I have a section for the sandbox, and the sandbox is 48. I'm gonna choose a 6 by 8 to give me that 48, right? So I'm just gonna pick off 6 by 8 anywhere within this. So if I start here, I'm gonna make sure I could get a 6 by 8, right? So let's pick off our 6 by 8. So I'm gonna go 8 across. That's 8. Picking off. All right, I'm putting it in blue. I'm going to go down 6. So you take your ruler and make sure that you properly label this. Get this out. There it is. So this is our sandbox here. And let me fix this. All right, so the sandbox, we have a 8 meters by 6 meters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this area is where we're going to put this sandbox. All right, so basically, that's it. So that's our play area and our sandbox we actually pick off right there. So that's the first task that you are required to do, and to put on the necessary measurement on them. So that's that. Let's see what other tasks that we have to do. All right, so part 2, it says we want to design the sandbox now. It says the principal wants to make sure that the students have enough sand to play in. Based on her research, she found out the following. The sand in the box should be 25 centimeters deep, right? So we're talking about 25 centimeters deep. The distance between the top of the sandbox and the top of the sand, the distance between the sandbox and the top of the sand, as shown in the diagram below, should be 5 to 10 cm. All right. All right. All right. So the sand should be 25 deep, and then the distance between the top of the sand, the top of the box should be that. So we're talking about you want to use between. All right. They did not say include. So you want to make sure. So you're saying 6, 7, 8, 9. Right, we're gonna use these numbers. That's from where the stand stop to the edge of the box itself. When we look at that, what is the height of the sandbox? All right. So if you want to have a quick visual, if this is our sandbox, right? Let us say that this is our quick, just doing a quick representation of the box, the sandbox. So that's our sandbox. So let us say that the sand in the box would have been this. So the blue lines that I'm drawing now would represent the sand. So it is said that the sand should be, so that means from here to here would be 25 centimeters. That's the sand, the blue. They're suggesting now that when you move from where the sand is to the top here, you want to ensure, so this piece down here is already 25. And you want to ensure, let me blow this up in front of our faces. So they're suggesting that where the sand stops to the top of the box, it should be between 6, 7, 8, and 9. So it's up to us to choose, right? It's up to you to choose the number you want to put here. So let us say that we pick, say, 8. So I use 8. So if I use 8, then everything is going to be 25 plus 8 from the ground where the sand is all the way to the top. And that's going to be 33 for me centimeters. Now, I want you to understand that you could have chosen any number to go where 8 is. So where I have my 8, you could have had numbers between 5 to 10. That's what the instruction said, right? I chose 8. So I would have to add that 8 to the 25, which is the amount of sand in the box. So the question now, so different person would have different responses and still would be correct. So for me, I'm using 8. So what is the height of your, very personal, your sandbox? Because everybody could have had a different thing here. I would have a 33 centimeters for my sandbox. So all my questions now will be linking to this. So based on the design you would have different calculations, but the principles will be the same. Let's go to the B part. The B part says, what is the height of your sandbox written in meters? Show all working. Now, the height of my sandbox in centimeters, right? So the height in centimeters is 33. So I have 33 centimeters. But remember though, it takes 100 centimeter to give us 1 meter. So then the height of my sandbox in meter will be 33 divided by 100. And I will definitely get 0.33 meters. All right. So I would definitely have 0.33 meters for the height of my sandbox. All right. So here it is, part C. Based on your design in part 1 and the information in part 2A and B, fill in the missing measurement, right? On the diagram of the sandbox. All right. So then the height for me is 0.33. And then now this would have been, I would have, remember originally, I designed my sandbox in terms of what I'd put in. I'd use a 6x8, right? Let me just quickly show. It was a 6x8, right? So 8 and a 6. So we're talking about having them here. This is a 8 and this is a 6, right? But that was already in meters, right? From the beginning, right? It was in meters. So it is a 8 meters and a 6 meters. That would have given a 6,848 overall, the ground, right? So there it is. That's what we're having there overall, right? All right, so you would have filled out those and then keep moving, right? Keep moving. All right, let's look on part 3. Now the question here says here, getting sand for the box, and that's where we're at. How much sand in meter cube will be needed for the sandbox? Show all working. Now remember the dimension. We're talking about think about the length of the box is 8. The width of this box is 6, but the height of the sand in the box. Now, the height of the box of the sand is different from the height of the sand in the box. So the height of sand, remember we were told that it was 25 centimeters, which is 0.25 meters. So from the beginning, we got that the height of the sand itself was 25 centimeters. So when you divide this by 100, you'd have gotten 0.25 meters. That's the height of the sand. So remember now, the volume is equal to the length times the width times the height. And we're talking about 8 times 6 times 0.25. All right. And we're actually getting 12 meter cube. All right. So we're getting 12 meter cube right there. All right. So let us continue. Let's continue going, right? All right. So the question went further, and it says that a bag of sand contains 0.5 meter cube of sand. How many bags of sand will you need to buy for your sandbox? Show all working. So we're suggesting that a bag, talking about one bag, has 0.5 meter cube, right? Sand needed. So the sand that we need is going to equal to 12 meter cube. So if I'm going to need to know the number of, because we want to know how many bags, right? So I'm going to write the number of bags of sand. The number of bags of sand is going to equal to 12 divided by 0.5. And that's going to run us about 24 bags of sand. So this is going to give us 24 bags, right? Because, and mentally you could have done that, because if one bag has half meter cube and I need 12, so I need 24 of those bags to work for me. So that's for that. Let's go to part 4. And part 4 says, buying sand for the sandbox. So now we're going to be thinking about the hardware and stuff like that. There are 2 questions in this part, 4A and 4B. Read each question carefully, then choose one, right? So you are to do either 4A or B. All right, but this is a workshop. We're going to do both. But in the exam, you are required to just choose one. So let us focus on what if you had chosen 4A. So it says that there are 2 hardware stores that sell sand by the bag. The principal need to decide which store to buy the sand from. The price and delivery costs are given below. So here it is. We have the item, sand, delivery. So you're looking at the sand, you're looking at the delivery of it. So you're going to have to take into consideration every single thing, right? So let's go the different hardware. So we have Kumar's, that's $400 per bag, and the delivery is $5,000. Construction one-stop hardware will give $500 per bag if you need. $500 per bag if less than 30 bags are purchased, right? $450 if 30 or more are purchased and the delivery is 3,000. So what category are we in? We need 24 bags. So we're going to be in this category if we're going with this. We're saying that to work out this, we're going in this category because we need 24 bags. So we're in the less than 30 category to go with what we want. All right. So we have two things to work out here. One, all right. It says, from which hardware should the principal buy the sand? Well, in order to choose that, you're going to have to make sure that you work out everything first. And let us say that we're working with which hardware first? We're going with Kumar's, right? So if I'm going with Kumar's, no. At Kumar's right now, it's gonna be my 24 bags times 5 times 400 because it's 400 per bag. And then I'm going to add his delivery, which is $5,000. This would have been to get everything there. So we're going to be working on that. So the 24 times the 400 is going to give me about 9,600 plus the 5,000 for the delivery. And so if I buy the sand at Kumar's, I'm going to be paying $14,600 to get the sand there. Now, if I stop at one stop, so I'm just going to write one stop for short. So if I stop at one stop, hardware, at one stop hardware, I am actually in the category for less than 30. So it's $500 it's going to cost me. So it's going to cost me, so it's 24 bags I need. It's going to cost me $500. And the delivery at that hardware is just $3,000, right? So let's put everything together. Talking about $500 times 24, we're going to get 12,000. And then now we're going to be adding that 3,000, and this is $15,000. So as long as we're thinking about which hardware should the principal buy, we would have chosen Kumar's right now, right? So we would have chosen Kumar's. So we want to state that Kumar's is better because overall it costs less. So Kumar is better because overall it costs less. Because we're thinking here about 14,600 compared to 15,000. So I would want to purchase with Kumar's hardware for my principal, right? So Kumar, it would have been the choice there out of the two. So if you had chosen that, that's where you would have gone, right? Let's look at the B part as well. Now, the B part says here, let's blow this up. Yeah, right there. The B part says there are two hardware stores that sell sand in cubic meters. The principal needs to decide which store to buy the sand from. The price and the delivery costs are given in the table below. So it's a similar situation. It said we have bare sand hardware, we have sand galore, and so the cost and deliveries are there. Right? So let us now pay attention to details, right? So, so for the beer, we could work out beer right. Let's work out the beer first, and then we go and look at the category for galore, sand galore. So let us work out for beer. So for beer sand, I'm going to work beer sand right here. For beer sand, we're told that it's we're told that $800 per cubic meter. All right. So we know that we need 12 cubic meter, right? So then we're talking about we need 12 and it's $800, right? So you want to know how much you're going to have here. So we need 12 cubic meters, and we're going to have to multiply that by $800 because it's $800 for 1 cubic meters, and the sand that we have is 12 cubic meters. So it's going to be 800 times that, plus we're going to be adding the delivery. Let's work out. This is still 9,600 plus the 5,000. So this one would have cost us $14,600. All right. So beer would have cost that. Let us work out the category for sand galore. So for sand galore, $1,000 per meter cube if less than 15 meter cube will be purchased. Well, we are in this category because we need 12. And it would have been $900 if you're purchasing more than 15. Well, this part does not apply to us. We are going with 1,000 because we are going for 12. So let's work out beside this. We could work out sand galore. So for sand galore, we need 24. We need 12. All right, cubic meters, and we're gonna get it for $1,000. This is gonna cost us 12,000. Also, we have a $3,000 for delivery, and we're still ending up at 15,000 right here. So again, if I was in this and want to choose, the better buy is beer sand hardware is the better buy here. And I was simply saying that because it is cheaper. The overall arrangement and everything is way cheaper. So beer sand would have been the choice right there.